Welcome back to the channel, guys. As always, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come over here to review flicks and join me as we dive back into the DCEU. So, we've got this really interesting article here written by Cosmic Book News about Zack Snyder potentially exiting Netflix and setting himself up to restore the SnyderVerse. So, some pretty interesting information here, but as I always say, take it with a grain of salt, guys. Unless we get information from an official source, whether it comes from a studio, whether it comes from Zack Snyder himself, David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Brothers, we always have to take this information with a grain of salt. So, just bear that in mind as we go forward. So, anyway, as Superman normally gets his energy from the sun, I get my energy from a can of Red Bull. So, it's all good. And it got my energy, and I'm ready to go. So let's dive into this news. After we've checked out this article and broken down some of the details, we'll go over to social media and check out some really fun, interesting posts to do with the SnyderVerse, to do with Zack Snyder and the larger DCEU universe. Okay. So, Zack Snyder exiting Netflix as he moves to restore the SnyderVerse. That sounds good to me. I hope that is the case. But again, we have to take it with a grain of salt that that is in fact happening. Okay. A new report suggests Zack Snyder may be stepping away from Netflix, which aligns with what we've been reporting about his potential SnyderVerse return. Backed by the Saudis and whichever studio wins the Warner Brothers Discovery bid, Comcast or Paramount. So yeah, even though Netflix were in the, kind of in the race to get a hold of Warner Brothers Discovery, it looks like the most likely outcome is going to be either Comcast or Paramount owning Warner Brothers Discovery. We'll probably have to wait until mid-December or, sort of around about the first, second week of December until we find out who the new owners of Warner Brothers Discovery are going to be. That's going to be a crazy week for sure when it comes to DC news. Whether they're going to address the SnyderVerse concerns of the fans, whether they're going to put out a statement saying, we have intentions for it to return, or whether they'll put out a statement and say, sorry guys, we have no intention. They may just ignore the thing entirely. We'll have to wait and see if they do in fact address it, whoever the new owners of Warner Brothers end up being. So, the report claims that Netflix projects are being shelved. So, according to what's on Netflix, who reported that Snyder's Twilight of the Gods anime has been cancelled, the outlet states that Snyder's planned LAPD crime thriller may never happen at all as well. The site notes that Snyder's output didn't quite connect with Netflix the way the company expected, and that Army of the Dead and Rebel Moon are essentially on ice. Yeah, Rebel Moon really didn't get good reviews. People didn't like it all that much. It seemed kind of like a knockoff version of Star Wars in a way. And from what I heard, originally it was supposed to be a script for a Star Wars movie. That's what I've heard. I don't know how true that is. But originally I heard that it was supposed to be a script for Star Wars, and obviously Lucasfilm rejected it, and then they ended up turning it into Rebel Moon. Again, I don't know if that's true or not, but anyway, it's pretty interesting regardless. And then we have Army of the Dead. I actually found Army of the Dead, that kind of heist film in Las Vegas with the zombies. I found that quite interesting. It's quite a fun movie. Dave Bautista in it. Always love seeing Dave Bautista pop up in anything. The site adds that the recent report suggests Snyder's LAPD movie won't be released. Okay, so it's no secret that Zack Snyder's projects didn't quite connect with the way that Netflix had hoped, with the director now working on projects away from the streamer, and his Army of the Dead and Rebel Moon projects put on ice for the foreseeable future. There were plans for a new LAPD crime thriller, although more recent reports suggest that the movie may never hit our screens either. So, it looks like Netflix has fallen out of favour with Zack Snyder. They've kind of put all of his projects on ice, or kind of indefinite leave, if you like. And it looks like that relationship between Zack Snyder and Netflix is getting further and further apart. And eventually, like it says here, Zack Snyder could exit the relationship with Netflix and then return full-time to the SnyderVerse. That's what we're hoping. Fingers crossed. So, fans are now speculating that Zack Snyder is exiting Netflix. Okay, so the move away from Netflix matches what we've been told. While it may sound like a cause for worry, the timing fits perfectly with what our insiders have been saying, that Zack Snyder is preparing to restore the SnyderVerse with the Saudi backing. We're told that the Saudis want a major cinematic event that can rival Marvel's upcoming Avengers films, and Snyder is the filmmaker they want to lead that charge. Not a bad bet, not a bad bet on the part of the Saudis, to be honest. Our insiders have said that Snyder could return to DC under Paramount or Comcast, depending on who wins the Warner Brothers Discovery bidding war, and both bids are reportedly backed by Saudi money. Yeah, so either way, it sounds like whoever wins this bidding war for ownership of Warner Brothers Discovery, it sounds like the Saudis, the Saudi investment fund is going to be, you know, the one with the kind of the the funds and the resources behind this sale. So it looks like regardless of who wins, the Saudis are going to be in there to some degree. And we know that Zack Snyder already has a working relationship with the Saudis, working on a UFC film called Brawler with the Saudis. So he already has a working relationship with the Saudis. The Saudis are then going to buy out Warner Brothers Discovery. So Zack Snyder is going to be in the mix there somewhere. But would he come back to DC? That's the question. So at the time, numerous reports have said that Netflix really isn't in the mix to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. If Snyder is indeed winding down his Netflix slate, that would line up with exactly his expected pivot back to DC. And let's hope that is indeed the case. So there's a bit of news there with the kind of relationship between Zack Snyder and Netflix. It seems that that relationship is kind of breaking apart, and it seems like Zack Snyder is kind of beginning to move out of that relationship. Potentially, if he does, then that gives him kind of full time to go back to DC. And let's just hope that that is indeed the case. Okay, so with that kind of bit of that article down, let's start moving over to social media and let's start checking out some interesting, fun DCEU type posts. Okay, so up first on social media, this post comes to us from Leonidas. Kill all that restore the SnyderVerse in animated form nonsense. Nobody wants that. This is the most grand, epic DC saga there's ever been, and it needs to be seen in live action only, worldwide in IMAX. There is no fucking exceptions. I absolutely echo that sentiment 100%. I know there was reports going around that we could finish off the SnyderVerse with animated Justice League films, and no, it's just not going to do it justice. I'm not really an animated person. There's a few exceptions. There's a few animated films here and there that I do enjoy, but no, you cannot go from Batman v Superman and Justice League to an animated, to animated Justice League 2 and 3. It's just not going to work. The fans won't accept it. Fans will literally riot in the street. If they try to make this SnyderVerse in animated form going forward, like I say, people will literally burn down cities and riot in the street. By the way, I'm not advocating for that. Don't do it. But I'm just saying, as a metaphor, people will go metaphorically crazy if they try to continue the SnyderVerse in an animated form. It just won't do it justice, and people just won't accept it. So, like it says here, kill that nonsense. I absolutely agree with what this post is saying. Okay, let's move on here. Okay, so from Ben Affleck's The Batman. Wait, what the fuck? I've never seen this shot from this angle. And we have a brilliant picture here of Ben Affleck's Batman. Yeah, I have to say, I've never seen that picture before either, but it's pretty cool. He's got a thug. He's behind a thug, kind of bending his arm back. Looks like he's about to break his arm in half. And Batman doing his badass stuff, taking on thugs. Pretty cool picture. I can't say that I've ever seen it before. And I thought I would like to know what you guys think about it. Pretty cool. You could turn that into a poster. I think it's a pretty epic picture. And again, it's in like monochrome black and white, which always makes Batman look more badass when it's in black and white. So, pretty cool picture there. I really do like that. Okay, moving on here. So the picture that we looked at yesterday, Zack Snyder put up a brand new picture of Henry Cavill on his Instagram. Check out that video. It'll be linked in the description. I did not realize that image of Superman that Zack Snyder posted on his Instagram yesterday is actually from this advert that Zack Snyder directed starring Henry Cavill. I've never seen this advert before. Never seen it before. And it's got Henry Cavill on it. So it's a bunch of people. It looks to be in Metropolis, and I won't play it for copyright. But if we keep going forward, there's people eating a sandwich, from the company that's being advertised here. I'm not sure which company it is. Then Henry Cavill, Superman, smashes into the ground behind them. And this is where that image on Zack Snyder's Instagram comes from, this advertisement. I've never seen it before, and I didn't know that. So there you go. I've learned something new. I don't pretend to know everything about everything. I don't. So that's a bit of new information there for those of you who may not know where that new Instagram image came from. It comes from this advert, which is really cool. So people are eating the sandwich. Superman lands. He kind of looks at the sandwich, takes a bite, and then Superman blasts off in the background. And that's pretty much it. It's only a very short advert there. Superman there. Yeah, it's a pretty cool. Just that look there of Superman blasting off the ground, man, looks really impressive with the smoke, and it just looks so good. Love Henry Cavill so much. But yeah, really cool advert, and again, never seen it before. Must have skipped over me sometime when they put out this advert years ago. Snyder's DC movies are timeless and unforgettable, unlike some of the other DC movies we have had now. That's why they are talked about and demanded even years later. Yeah, they just resonate with people a lot more than what James Gunn's been putting out. James Gunn had this kind of colourful, hopeful, kind of campy, comic kind of tone to his Superman. I'm not saying that Superman was bad, Superman 2025. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good. It's just somewhere in the middle. It's okay. It feels like a cookie cutter comic book film that we've seen time and time and time again. There's nothing that stands out that's incredible. The Green Lantern scene was okay, where we see the Green Lantern kind of smashing those tanks with his Green Lantern ring. That was kind of cool. But the rest of it, there's nothing memorable about it. Unlike Man of Steel, there's so much to remember about that film. There's so much that resonates with that film. And it's, yeah, that's why it's talked about more than James Gunn's universe. And finally, we'll take a look at this post from Sammy. I saw this cool Affleck statue at Forbidden Planet. I thought this was a pretty cool post. So we have this Affleck statue here. £434. I'm not sure that I have an extra, nearly £500 to spend on a toy. But for someone who does, you can collect this at Forbidden Planet. It's an absolutely stunning statue. I would love to have it. Absolutely, I would. But I don't think I'd pay £435 for it. It's a lot of money. But people who are wealthy, who are well off, there you go, guys. There's another statue you can add to your collection. So, with all that down, guys, let me know what stands out to you here. Are you thinking that Zack Snyder's going to be distancing himself from Netflix and then coming back to the DC cinematic universe full-time? The DCEU, I should say, full-time. I hope that's the case. But let me know what news stands out to you, and leave your thoughts, comments, questions, theories, opinions, anything else you want to talk about regarding James Gunn, Zack Snyder, the DCEU, any of that good stuff. Leave it down in the comment section. Would love to hear your feedback as always. Thanks so much for being here on a Sunday, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you, as always, in the very next video.